All right, let's talk about crypto. If you've ever looked at the market and just felt completely overwhelmed, like you're lost in a massive jungle with no path, you are definitely not alone. It is a chaotic space. But what if I told you there's a map? A secret one that the world's biggest financial players have been quietly drawing for years. Well, today, we're going to follow that map. First, let's just wrap our heads around the size of this jungle. We're not talking about a few hundred choices. Right now, there are nearly 40 million different crypto tokens out there. 40 million. It's an absolute ocean of noise. And for the average person trying to pick a winner and all that, it's pretty much impossible.
And because of that, the old playbook is officially useless. Back in 2017 or even 2021, you could almost throw a dart at the board and come out ahead. The whole market was rising together. But as crypto researcher Austin Haynes says, those days are over. There's just not enough money to go around to lift all 40 million boats.
So, how in the world do you find your way? Well, you follow the people with the most to lose. You follow the smart money. We're talking about these massive, multi-billion-dollar institutions. They don't gamble, they make calculated moves. And the best part? They have to document everything they do. And that documentation, that's our map. So where do we find the first coordinates? Right here, in a massive survey by EY and Coinbase. Now, they didn't just ask some random people on the street. They went straight to the top, the COOs and CEOs at 352 different institutions. And get this, every single one of them manages over $1 billion. This is a direct look inside the minds of the financial world's heaviest hitters.
And here's what they're buying. Look at how clear this is. Out of 40 million options, they are overwhelmingly focused on just a handful. Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's where the vast majority of their money is. But look closer. XRP and Solana aren't just afterthoughts. They make up a huge piece of the rest. This tells you their portfolio is small, it's focused, and it is incredibly strategic.
But the real key is understanding why they hold these specific assets. They aren't just placing random bets. Each one has a specific job to do. For them, Bitcoin is digital gold, a way to store value. Ethereum is their foundational layer, like an institutional app store. XRP is the engine for moving money between banks. And Solana is the platform for apps that you and I would use. They're not just buying coins, they're building an entire financial ecosystem.
Okay, so we know the assets. We know the what. But that's kind of like knowing what a house is made of without ever seeing the blueprints. So how are they actually going to build this new financial system? For that, we have to look at the infrastructure they're putting into place right now. And it all starts right here, with stablecoins. The easiest way to think about a stablecoin is just as a digital dollar. It's the critical piece of plumbing that connects our old financial world to this new blockchain economy. It's the on-ramp and the off-ramp for all the money. Before you can build skyscrapers, you need pipes in the ground. That's what stablecoins are.
And if you want to see the real-world impact of this plumbing, just look at this case study on Walmart from Citibank. They figured that if Walmart simply started using stablecoins to settle its transactions behind the scenes, it would cut costs so much that its net income would shoot up by almost $10 billion. The result? A potential 62% spike in its market cap. This isn't just some tech fantasy. It's a tool for making giant companies even more profitable.
So, if stablecoins are the plumbing, then what are they building with it? Tokenization. And the timeline here is speeding up like crazy. Citibank came right out and said that 2025 could be blockchain's ChatGPT moment. That point where it just explodes into the mainstream, all thanks to new regulations making it possible.
So what on earth is tokenization? It's actually pretty simple. It's just the process of taking a real-world asset, like stocks, bonds, a piece of art, even your house, and creating a digital version, or a token of it, that lives on a blockchain.
The scale of this change is it's hard to even imagine. Boston Consulting Group predicts that by just 2030, that's only a few years away, the market for these new tokenized assets will be worth $16 trillion. I mean, that's not a typo. 16 trillion.
But even that is just the tip of the iceberg. The total value of everything in the world that could be tokenized, we're talking all real estate, all commodities, all private funds, is estimated at $410 trillion. That is the ultimate prize. That's what the institutions are really playing for, moving the entire world's balance sheet onto the blockchain. Of course, to move trillions of dollars around the globe, everybody needs to be speaking the same language. And that's where this comes in, ISO 2022.
It's a new global standard for financial messages. The best way to think of it is like a universal translator for money, or a shared roadmap that ensures every bank and every institution is on the same page.
And look, this isn't some far-off dream. It's happening on a very real schedule. The financial giant State Street literally laid out their timeline for tokenizing everything. Within 1 year, they're focused on bonds. Within 3 years, private equity. 5 years, stocks. And within a decade, real estate. The plan to tokenize the world is already in motion, one step at a time.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. This massive technological revolution, it isn't happening in a vacuum. It is perfectly timed to coincide with the single largest transfer of wealth in the history of the world. The technology is showing up right as the money is getting ready to move.
And that number is $84.4 trillion. That is how much money the baby boomer generation is set to pass down to millennials and younger generations by 2045. And what do we know about this new generation? They grew up with the internet. They are way more comfortable with digital assets. So you have this massive wave of new capital that's ready to pour into this new digital economy.
So let's just boil it all down. What's the big takeaway here? Number 1, that crazy crypto jungle, it has a map. Number 2, that map was drawn by the biggest financial players in the world. 3, the destinations on that map are crystal clear. A small, focused portfolio of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. 4, the roads and bridges, the stablecoins, and tokenization platforms are being built as we speak. And finally, number 5, the end game is nothing short of tokenizing the entire global economy.
The smartest money on the planet is betting that we are living through this incredible moment where a tech revolution is meeting a massive demographic shift. They are getting in position for what they see as the great wealth transfer. So the only question left to ask is, what role will you play in it?